Welcome to Vator Box, the show where we rate your pitches. I'm Bambi Francisco, and joining me, as always, is Ezra Roizen. He is a columnist at Always On, as well as Vator, and he's also an investment banker covering digital media. And we do have Gary Kremen, who is the founder of Match.com, as well as Grant Media, search engine company. But today you are off to clean finance or clean technology, as well as angel investing in 45 companies. So if anyone has an idea of how to invest in startups, it's probably you, Gary, at least in this group. So if anyone's watched our Vator Box shows, you know, this is sort of a new idea here, but we take three or four company profiles, and we take a look at them, and we share our ideas, and hopefully you can benefit from some of our analysis. And we're going to be covering ShareThis, which is an emerging ad network, The Fifth Medium, which is a new video production social networking site, and Genius Rocket, which is a new user-generated advertising company. So we're going to start with ShareThis.
Hi, I'm Tim Schickel, founder of ShareThis. I'll tell you how we're helping to make sharing on the web easier. First of all, you've all probably seen the proliferation of these social web buttons across the web. Whether it's bookmarking, tagging, or sharing with a friend, there are a lot of options. That's a good thing, but it can also be a bad thing. When you talk to publishers and content providers, their motivation is obvious. They're trying to drive more traffic and get their content noticed. But when you talk to users, you find out that they just want to share. ShareThis is all about trying to make that process easier. First of all, we understand that the social web can really be categorized in these four categories. There's sending to individual addresses, posting to my profile or my blog, collecting and organizing, which is RSS, bookmarks, and tags, and then rating and recommending.
Let's start with the pitch. I mean, he clearly demonstrates the value proposition. He didn't have enough time to talk about the business model, but regarding just his presentation, we obviously can understand that there's a value here. And as a publisher, we actually, unfortunately, use Tim's competitor, which is ShareThis. So, but there is a value there. You need to collect all of these sharing, bookmarking features all in one place, and so that's a value.
I think absolutely there's a proliferation of new indexing sites. Obviously, Dig was sort of the first thing out there, then Delicious came along, and now we have all kinds of new add your Facebook, and there's 20, 30, 50, who knows how many of these different indexing and sharing sites there are. I think what was good about what they were doing was they at least began to provide context of what you're trying to share and with whom. Mm-hmm. Putting something on Delicious is different than submitting it to Dig, which is different than identifying it for FARC.
Or Reddit, or Newsvine, or Delicious.
And Newsvine, Reddit.
StumbleUpon.
There's StumbleUpon. There's a zillion of these guys. So I think the thing is, first off, helping the user understand what it is they're actually doing is a useful utility at this point for sharing information out. Publishers obviously like to get traffic back to their sites. So I think on the publishing side, there's a good case for including this. Do publishers, though, want to use an aggregated service, or they want to pick the top 5 things they think are going to drive relevant traffic back to them?
Well, I have to say that you can actually select which ones you want to.
Which widgets you want to.
As a publisher.
As a publisher.
Right.
As a publisher, I've already checked it out. What I like about this is that it's not only just sharing or bookmarking using Delicious and sharing with the FARC community. It's also sharing with like the Facebook community as well. And they're trying to get into the LinkedIn community. So I understand that would be helpful for us as we have content that's useful or relevant to a business community. What about the business model? Will this company make money?
How do they make money?
I think it's tricky. You know, where do you average? First off, is the publisher going to pay? Probably not. Is the site going to pay? Probably maybe not. You have to figure out a way in the flow, I think, to make money, and it's tough to make money.
Insert ads in what's being sent.
But maybe insert ads in what's being sent. Maybe not all the communication, person-to-person communication. I think the advertising, though, it's tricky to monetize a workflow. If you look at most websites and where they stick their ads, it's usually not in the transactional place.
That's right. Once it's in the workflow, it breaks up what people are doing, and once you break up someone's workflow, they're never going to want to do it again.
So they're unlikely to click on something in the middle of a workflow.
Right. They are targeting behavioral advertising. It's in the sharing. They want to capture what people are sharing and be able to target behavioral ads. That's the market that they're doing. It's a hot market. We saw Blue
What's their
Lithium
click-through rates?
You know, I think they just started. I'm not sure. So, okay, so we've got about 30 seconds left. What advice?
Look for who's going to buy it first and target what they're doing to figure out who needs a company like this, who wants to be in this little space, and sell it to them.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think, you know, maybe Microsoft, Yahoo, something is a great buyer. Now 2 turns into 1. But I think that these are features. This is sort of widgetization of the broad internet versus widgetization of a platform like Facebook. I think there will be some interesting opportunities. I think it's a useful feature. I don't know. I would need to see more on exactly how the business model plays out and the rate of adoption and how you actually monetize it.
Yeah.
So I really think narrowing in and zeroing in on what the monetization strategy is for a feature like this would be critical.
You know, it's interesting because Dig, you know, really sort of resonated with the consumer, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get consumers to download their toolbar, and it didn't resonate so much with the publisher until it resonated with the consumer. So perhaps they
chicken
need to
and egg
resonate.
situation.
Yeah.
People don't like the download toolbars. Makes them nervous.
Right. So maybe if they have to focus on aggregating the publisher as well as the consumer, maybe they focus on that. Who knows?
But the reality is we don't want websites to start looking like South American generals with 400 medallions on the bottom of them. So I think that the trick here is at least it gets it off the main publisher's website, and people go there and they can pick the things they want to submit to, which I think is a useful tool for getting rid of clutter. I still believe, though, there's a chance that publishers may say, you know what, we believe in 5 services, and we're going to basically highlight those and then use this for everything else.
Yeah.
It's a like, not a want or need.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, next, the Fifth Medium. The Fifth Medium is a video production company that's creating channels about celebrities and famous people, like Brad Pitt's on there, Nelson Mandela. And so this company is going around and actually they're going out and producing this content.
Hi, this is Charlie Muirhead. I'm the founder and CEO of T5M, which is the Fifth Medium. The Fifth Medium is named because the first medium was print, the second medium is radio, the third was video, moving pictures, the fourth is the web, and the fifth medium is about you. It's about a personalized media experience. So we're here in front of the site, and I can take you through some of the features of the platform we have. So here you can see the landing page for T5M and some of the recent articles at the top of the page there, the feature article at the bottom, and you can see the options up here. You can search by people, causes that those people support, events, and showcase, which is where brands get to showcase what they're doing. I'm going to click through here on Explore T5M. Now the screen is now going to refresh. We use Microsoft Silverlight technology to create this contextual browser, and you can see a beautiful picture of Kate Bosworth there talking about the moment she knew she wanted to be an actress. We can play with the volume control here. We can flip that into full screen mode and back out again. And over here you've got related clips. So everything we put on the site is hand meta tagged, and these are other related clips that are showing up automatically. If we go to the bottom left over here, we can expand the screen, and actually there you've got a full screen contextual browser, and this is a really exciting place to hang out and go discover things you didn't even know you were looking for, whether it's Ray Winston over here or Barbara Taylor Bradford talking about how she first made her mark.
Okay, Gary, you were smiling a lot. What's your thoughts?
I think I'd rather go to TMZ and find out what's going on with Brittany.
I think that's it. I think I saw this pitch, Charlie's pitch, at the Always On conference. I saw a longer form version of his presentation. On the plus side, his production quality is fantastic.
It's amazing.
The video quality is professional. There's clearly a whole team of pros behind creating these videos.
It takes a half a day. I talked to Charlie too. So I think it takes half a day to do one of those videos. Just the interview part, not even the editing.
Expensive content cost.
It's expensive content. Now on the flip side, if you go to TMZ, if you go to CNN, you're not really watching content that's inspirational, uplifting. It's someone's getting murdered. It's someone crashing a car. It's inspirational content. Although it's fantastic and meaningful and important, I believe has yet to reach a mass market status. It's tough to get huge audiences to sit and watch medium and longer form good news.
Our attention span, we don't want good news. We want to know what Paris is up to. Sad but true.
Yeah, we want to know what Paris is up to. And so I think the trick is that for these guys, and the other thing is, are they going to be a portal in and of themselves? Are people going to go to T5M.com? Are they going to watch this content there? Or do they create a syndicated market where they can basically take what is great content and interesting and novel, meaningful content and distribute through other channels?
Well, the funny thing is that this is a problem for their model going forward. If they can't create a channel, inspiration network with celebrities, their goal is to make this more of a long tail network, sort of, they would go and maybe videotape me or you or just the average person, or actually get users to actually just the average person to upload their own inspiration. So if we can't even get an audience for those who are so popular and cultural icons, how much more for somebody that no one knows?
Yeah.
And that's really what they're trying to do ultimately.
Yeah. And I think the reality is they're going to need to figure out how to, if they're going to take that content, I don't think you can create a destination portal, or my guess is with huge volume, because these kinds of content businesses, as we talked about in the past, require huge volumes, millions of users and consumers to basically participate in order to actually make a significant business out of them. So I think if you're going to do that, you probably have to distribute the content through other channels.
Right, I think you're right. So what should they do? Last 30 seconds.
I would say if they can prove there's a large audience for that content category, get significant distribution deals.
I'd look for a buyer. Who cares about inspiration? Maybe some church wants to go buy the content. I don't know.
I'd say forget about the long tail stuff. Continue making these really good, well-produced stuff and sell for several $1 million to somebody, because then you have a library of good video content. Okay, now we're off to Genius Rocket.
Hi, my name is Mark Walsh, and I'm the CEO of a startup called Genius Rocket, geniusrocket.com. We're based in Bethesda, Maryland, right outside of Washington, D.C. There's about 8 of us that are working there now, including my former AOL colleague, Adam Lehman, and also Joe Trippi, who was the head of the Howard Dean for President campaign in 2004. Genius Rocket is a platform that connects advertisers or brand managers and a community of creative people, mostly ex-agency or artistic people who understand the creative process. The advertiser or brand manager puts out an RFP, or we call it an RFB, Request for Brilliance, with a cash award associated. The creative community responds to that RFP and submits what the brand manager is looking for: a viral video, a web advertising play, a widget, a new radio jingle, a billboard design, whatever.
Do you remember when Frito-Lay held that competition where they were trying to find the best user-generated commercial? And I remember watching some of the ads, and clearly the average person or small production houses do have talent, and they can create really funny, clever commercials on the cheap.
I think I think it's an interesting idea. I think creating markets around problems is great. The trick is, for sustainability over the long run, is are there enough winners, and how much work does it take to create one of these submissions? And so can people really sustainably create and then make money?
And do people get tired? It's the same prize week after week. It's like prize fatigue.
Right. It's funny because he talks about this request for brilliance, and we have a competition page on Vator, and we look as request for pitches, and so we've had about a dozen of them. And so the trick is, will Frito-Lay, which had a competition,
right,
will they use their site, or will they just put it right on? Will P&G just put a competition right on their site, or do they go to?
Well, I think he's a credible guy in a lot of ways. It's kind of like a targeted Elance in a certain way.
Yeah.
And so for me, I think it's a great idea. I mean, Got Milk or other great long-standing ad campaigns. Do you increase the probability of finding one of those gems if you use this process? Maybe. Who gets the reward from that over the long run? Mm-hmm. And is there really a sustainable economic model that can sit underneath getting enough great contributors to get quality up and get customers to basically buy that, instead of basically buying their agency's produced content? Yeah. Because at the end of the day, great ads are great content. It's content plays. And so if this works here, then maybe NBC forgets about new writers and they start creating competitions to get new shows. I listened to the CEO of NBC's conference call earlier this week with Imran Khan, and he said they're going to stop doing pilots. They're just going to go straight to shows. They said, we spent $120 million last year on pilots. the industry spent $500 million. There wasn't one hit. We did that the previous year. There wasn't a hit. Forget it. We're just going to take good ideas, put them on the air, and see what happens. And create whole shows and basically shorten the cycle. Maybe advertising is sort of following the same.
It sounds like they have a little traction already, so I think there might be something here.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see sort of what type of advertisements are going to be created when you put when you give it the consumer the control to actually create those advertisements. Of course, you'll create, maybe you'll have even more fantastic type and very authentic type of advertisements because you'll really have the fans kind of really share.
It'll still be low budget though because user content doesn't have studios and professional tools and stuff like that.
What should these guys do? We have 30 seconds.
I think you really got to monitor the product and the flow and make sure that you can create something that keeps enough great people, talented people on the supply side, and you have enough demand and you can keep enough enough product coming out the door to keep the consumer of that product, the companies, interested.
I like the people on the demand side. I think the agency marketing to the agency market's smart.
I think that if they're going to do these request for brilliance competitions and they focus on one and really do a good job with that, and then they could take that model and apply
Blow
it
out
forward.
the house, get a marquee account.
Okay, well that wraps up this episode of Vator Box where we saw ShareThis, the 5th medium genius rocket. I do want to thank Gary Kremen for being our special guest. And Ezra Roizen, of course, who is sort of our color guy. Not so special guest anymore, but our color guy. But if you have any comments, if you think that we forgot to share any good advice about these companies, please post a comment. Also, please contact us if you would like your pitch to be analyzed on Vator Box. And with that, well, we'll see you next time on Vator TV.